Welcome, everybody. It's your girl Delores, just a pink girl in her pink world, here on YouTube with the good brother J.News, here for the Hit the Ropes podcast, where we review and preview all things in wrestling. J.News, do you got something to tell the good people?
Yeah. I got something to say. Um, Welcome, first of all. Thank you for watching the Hit the Ropes podcast with me and Dolores. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a good brother J News. We're back at it again, talking all things that was the week in pro wrestling across the stratosphere. We've got bits of information for you, reviews of all types of shows, and let's get it started.
Listen, I wasn't even biased on my spotlight because my spotlight, I thought everybody would just automatically assume because my dude got free and he got a new contract that I was gonna pick him. But I was like, I'll wait. He got to do something for me
Yeah, he
before.
does. He's got to get a name first. Yeah, he's got to get a name
I
first.
believe that they
Yeah,
already go. I
he's gotta get a
believe in
name
my
first.
heart they chose Absolute
I
because
hope I hope that it was just more of a legalese thing, and they were just trying to dot the i's and cross the t's and all that jazz. I know, I feel. Let me not say I know. I feel that the rush to him being on NXT TV was for the shock value of it, and so that his name wouldn't lose any momentum, which is fine. But when you didn't decide on whether or not you're going to actually use the name you were using, that can and might backfire on you. But
okay, but the reason why I say that his name might be Absolute is because that vignette they
oh no,
not the one,
they keep
but the
pumping the
vignette,
absolute one. Yeah.
yeah, and he just like it kept, at the bottom when he was sitting down,
Mhm.
and they're like black and white kind of background, and it kept flashing absolute, absolute. And I'm like, okay, so they're just gonna go with this. And then when he kept saying, and I am absolute, and he hit the move, I was like, he didn't say I am Ricky Starks. He said I am absolute, and that was like, okay, so I'm assuming this is the name that you gonna stick with, okay?
They're going to stick with the tagline of absolute. We don't necessarily know if he's going to be who he used to be. If they're going to give
Like
him a
the
new name,
prototype.
I hope that they stick with I hope that they stick with Ricky Starks because the fans did chant Ricky.
What? What is his real name is Ricky, right?
I have no idea what his real name is. So
I have to look it up. I'll find out about it in the show.
for all I
But
know, he's Starkman Jones at the end of the day. So that's all I know.
I let me see because I'm typing it. I know we're on TikTok, the Tickety Talk. Uh, Listen, because I was like, "Hey, sir." When I saw him, I was screaming out of my ever living mind, like I had lost it, and I was just like, "I tried to tell everybody." I finally went listening to that Chris Van Vliet interview.
Which
Uh,
one?
the one where he was sitting and talking about his WrestleMania appearance.
You mean the Ricky Starks one? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And at that moment, it dawned on me
What dawned on you?
that was a problem in
Oh, was it?
that was a problem
Was it?
with not the interview, but the actual showing up and not
No.
giving a.
That wasn't the problem. The interview was the problem.
Now
Not showing up.
the interview throw gasoline on it.
Yeah.
But you heard what he said when he said, um, I don't think there should be a problem with me going to uh, a show. I was a wrestling fan. He was like, and
Essentially, he's right. There is no problem with going to a wrestling show. Don't get your ass put on camera. Is the point?
well, you can't help it. I mean,
Yes, you
Britt was on.
can.
Okay,
Rhea
listen.
Ripley was just
My
in
thing about it
Brisbane.
was, my thing about it was, Buddy has been caught on camera. Uh, Dustin has been caught on camera. Britt has been caught on camera. Ricky, the person who contract is coming to an end, MJF has been caught on camera. Everybody's been caught on camera, but there was no
There's a
repercussion like Ricky.
there's a no. There's a difference. Ricky was caught on WWE cameras,
Yes,
not the
you
fan
remember Britt
cam.
was caught in the NXT when her boyfriend at the time was in wrestling. She was in the crowd. You remember that? And she
Yeah, but
said,
AEW
"I
wasn't
thought I was
running.
gonna catch flack for that." And
AEW
they,
wasn't running at that time. Adam Cole wasn't there at that time.
yeah, well, you remember that was the thing. Go back and look. I probably figured out the episode. She was in the crowd as Adam was wrestling, and they caught a glimpse of her, and
Yeah,
the
but she
zoomed in
wasn't signed
on
yet.
her. The camera zoomed in on her. That's
Yeah,
when AEW was first starting. She was on there. She was the face. She was, Britt Baker doing the interviews for AEW. And she even said in an interview she thought she was gonna get in trouble. And
yeah.
yet she did not get in trouble. She's like, Tony was like, I know you didn't mean to get caught. So,
I think
that's okay.
I
And
think
I'm
the
thinking like,
trouble.
if you felt okay with her getting caught and they zoomed in close on her face, how do you feel like with Ricky getting caught from a distance?
I I think and to cut this short because we got some stuff to do. I think the main issue is all jokes aside and all that stuff is that he had. I think by that time, um, Ricky had a year left on his contract, and he had already told Tony he wasn't planning on re-signing, so don't extend me. And he had already told Tony that. And then when he ends up on camp, it became more of an issue, right? Because
Yeah,
he had already let Tony know, hey, I'm not don't extend my contract, and Tony does it anyways, or whatever the
yeah.
case is. So it's more of the whole petty TK narrative thing. But I think like I said, the WrestleMania thing had less to do with the fact with all the issues. In my personal opinion, I think it had more to do with a year ahead of time. Ricky
Oh,
basically,
he can use the name. He can use the name. Wikipedia says he was born Ricky Starks.
yeah. I mean, I don't trust Wikipedia, but at the end of the day,
Like,
but the
like
thing, no, the thing about that is from a legal standpoint, Dolores, it's more to the point of will does Ricky have a deal in place with the WWE to license his name so that he can get money from merchandising from
it
it?
hasn't came up on the trademark
Right.
thing. Hey,
I don't think.
Leonica, how you doing?
How you
It
doing?
hasn't came up on the trademark thing. But you know who I really feel bad for at this point?
Hmm.
My boy Ray Phoenix. He's like, everybody got to get the
They,
about
they,
it.
they, according to reports, they're working on it. So we'll see as to how it
They
goes
said
down.
it had to hurt when you hear Sean Ross Sapp say they thought about letting him go with everybody else, but then they said nah. And I was like, that had to hurt. That had to hurt. And that man, and to the point, this man has now said, since you gonna keep me, just use me. And they's like, mm-mm.
Yeah, yet again, I think the reports that were out there on the internet and via the dirt sheets, yada yada yada, about them as an AEW and Ray Phoenix working out some sort of a agreement to let him out of his contract, and someone told Tony that I'm paraphrasing here, enough is enough, and just stop the madness and whatnot.
It's got
Yeah,
to be somebody who has come. Brian Daniels and somebody has to be like, you let other people out of their contract, and they had the same feelings. This man, and it feels like some people hold their tongue for a long period of time until rumors are swirling, questions are asked, and then they explode with it. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. And it's like that's like a kid sitting in the back seat quiet. And then all of a sudden they're screaming, "How long do we got till we get home? I'm ready to go home. Are you ready to go? I'm ready to go home." Why they quiet? Leave them alone.
yeah.
Don't bother them.
At the end of the day, I think this can all get worked out. There has to be a different mindset going forward for AEW as a company, for Tony Khan,
I think his original
the
mindset was
boss of the
good.
company. Will evolve, right? Time goes on, and you learn
Yeah.
from mistakes or whatever, past transgressions and all that jazz. And I feel like at this point, if your fan base is calling for you to just let this shit go, just let it go. At this point, people
Yeah.
can go where they want to go. You just signed quote unquote. He just signed three new talents at the end of the day. So what's the use of holding on to some talent you're not even going to use at the end of the day? So it's like, dude, like just make this happen. Let him go where he wants to go. Let another company pay him. He's off your books. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Even WWE is beginning to figure, I'm not using such and such. I'm not using this
right.
person. Let me just let them go.
But
And so
the cool thing about and yet and yeah, the cool thing about Tony Khan in this sense, and let's be real, Tony Khan don't put no 90 day on none of his on none of the people
that's the
he
only good
believes.
thing. Cause like Ricky came out and I was like,
A day
Malachi, when
later,
you coming back? I'm beginning to look at Buddy and be like, Buddy, are you happy? Or are you leaving? Or are you, because Buddy initially when him and he went to AEW,
mhm,
there was no, he really kept it separate. Like him and Rhea, even on
mhm,
socials, they kept it separate. Now that they're more together and even walking in backstage where people, film and stuff like that,
mhm.
it's like he's willing to be like, okay, this is my wife. I'm supporting my wife,
Right,
and
nothing wrong with that.
she's more still into this is a business. Like I think somebody mentioned that she could, I don't know if she went, but she was maybe looking into going because he was back home.
No,
That's
she was in Brisbane. It was
yeah, and
right
so
there.
I know that's the last I had heard, but I
Yeah.
didn't. Again, she didn't get seen, so
No,
she know how to hide.
yeah, she
So
doesn't have to get photographed and whatnot. At the end of
yeah,
the day,
and
she doesn't have to. You know, she knows what she's doing. At the end of the day,
I think at certain points, people know what they're doing and how to do it and a way to
yeah,
do it. And so I appreciate when they kind of keep it kayfabe. Also, to these people out here on the internet, I just want to say, please don't talk this up. Please don't talk this up. That the
talk about
dead man and his wife was doing an interview with Chris and said that their oldest daughter loves wrestling and wants to participate. And then they
it.
put up a picture of this. I don't know if that's his daughter, but a young girl dressed as the Undertaker, like
Mm,
a adult woman dressed seductively, like a seductive Undertaker,
mm,
um, in like professional photos. I don't want to see none of that. I don't want to see the dead woman at all. Okay, don't give me that.
I
I,
have
and also,
no words
I
against that.
hate to say it, the Undertaker and these like conversations he be having with people lately has really made me like him a little bit more because he's being honest. Listen,
From my understanding of him as a human being, always has always been that he's been a stand up guy, straight shooter type, and whatnot, and um,
politically, I can let that go. He did or said
it is what it is.
nothing too egregious like that red and yellow man that makes me want to just be like, I don't like him. Period. But as far as him being like, even when I don't know if you saw him talk about the Hogan situation.
No,
Oh, that was hilarious because the person brought it up just for knowing they must have had backstage talks, knowing he was going to just run over Hogan like nobody's business. He just was like, yeah, they booed him. They booed him bad. He was like, he wanted to say he deserved it. He was like, that's him. And then when they asked him what happened backstage, he was like, he tried to kayfabe it. He tried to
yeah,
kayfabe it, but that ain't gonna work.
he's
He was
he's
like,
he's he's tried to kayfabe a lot in his career, and it's just starting to catch up to him. So
and
it
somebody
is what it is.
asked him, was it the politics? And he was like, "No, we pretty no, I know, because I didn't get booed, no." And I was like, bingo. Even in the Buster Open interview he had recently with Bully, they were watching NXT and Ricky came up on the screen
Yeah,
and he literally stopped the tracks and was like, he is a star. That's he is here. Oh my God, that's Ricky Starks. Like he really talked about him in a good manner, whereas most people is like, oh, they would have ignored Ricky on the screen. He's a new person, whatever, whatever. He really was interested in talking in detail about newer wrestlers and what they do and how they do it and what makes them special in their own right.
yeah. But, I mean, Ricky Starks and the Undertaker have a relationship, anyways.
Yeah,
So,
Michelle, trained with Michelle when she was coming back
mhm.
for the Royal Rumble and stuff like that. So to me, hey young Riaz, um, I feel like a lot of these people have a good rapport when they come in here because they've already been training or they know somebody who knows somebody. And knowing Cody and Jade, and to see CM Punk even in the comments of NXT screaming like, he was happy to see him there. That is heartwarming because Ricky has made it clear he was very unhappy. And so I don't want any wrestler or any company to be stuck somewhere where they're not happy. And when we get to NXT, especially Vengeance Day, I am appreciative that at least WWE at this point is willing to make an effort to work with TNA and have conversations that wrestlers swap and go different places instead of it's a one sided. It kind of feels one sided. They stomping them out constantly. You know what I'm saying? So I
Mm,
really feel like this might be good for them to change and maybe get a good standing in the wrestling community. Period, because we're used to them coming in and taking over everything
right.
and crushing companies. And now to see them actually work with somebody and work with somebody in a good way, it's a good thing. But
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It's time for the Hit the Ropes podcast. Review. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to review. Starting off with WWE. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to Raw. Switching over. There we go. Raw was on Monday. As you saw, we had a Dolores' Raw reaction. 16:55 on the 10th on Netflix. Damage Control defeated the Judgment Day, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. And a non-title elimination chamber qualifying match. Bayley defeated Lyra Valkyria. For the WWE World Tag Team titles, the Royal Raiders defeated American Made Brutus and Julius Creed. We had the Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Logan Paul defeated Rey Mysterio. J.News, did you see any of this, and what did you think?
I saw bits and pieces of this. Um, I wasn't even I was aware that that Damage Control had a tag match against Liv and Raquel. Um, I just forgot what the ending was necessarily. I just know that based out of the Damage Control team, Io Sky seems to have her eye on a match with Rhea Ripley in the near future. So we'll probably see that at either Elimination Chamber or
It is. I'm gonna be on the Monday after the
the
Elimination
Monday.
Chamber.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, the Monday. So that's where that came from. Yeah. So I knew that was coming, and the only thing I had a let's say an issue with was Bayley defeating Lyra Valkyria. Main thing being that the WWE went out of their way to have mid card titles for the ladies, and now they have their champions being beat in non-title qualifying matches. Like you have more women in the roster you could have used for Bayley to beat that is not a champion in order to qualify for the match, as in what happened with Logan Paul and Rey Mysterio, right? You don't have to have a champion in a match of a qualifying match get beat in order for it, because it doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. So now you're diminishing the sense of that secondary title.
I think
So
sometimes you do diminish it, but I
yeah,
feel like if it was me and this is real life, and I got a second title and there's a number one title, I would want that. Like I would want that. If I could, I would want to be both champions. But
sure,
I
no,
would
no,
want that,
I
and so that them putting her in there means she has a hunger to be on the person, not 1A. She wants to be one. And
that's
so
that's a fair point and a very valid point. The only thing that I have issue with is it's still wrestling, so you get to structure this right. She just got this title, so now you already have her losing matches without losing the belt. It doesn't come off right from a fan perspective. It's just like what is she a champion of? What does this championship mean if she's going to be losing matches? You know what I'm saying? So it's like this WWE's not New Japan. WWE's not AEW, where it's like they get these matches, they pin a champion, that particular person gets to face that champion for the championship. WWE doesn't do that, right? So it's like the sense of Lyra Valkyria wanting to be the lead champion. Cool, I understand that, but have her do that on a separate path instead of getting beat by Bayley, who's been there and done that for years. They could have had Bayley in a match with whoever else is on Raw right now, right? So it's like it didn't make any sense to me to have Lyra there as a current champion in your roster to have her get beat by Bailey. It just diminishes the fact that you created these championships for the women in the first place. My personal opinion at the end of the day. The War Raiders match is just really furthering American Made as a team and trying to see as to how they're building their cachet, quote unquote, within the tag team division. So that was a good look for them. In the case of being able to one, not win the particular championships, but get one over on the War Raiders by losing by DQ. And then I never have interest in Logan Paul stuff. I just don't. But I knew what the outcome was going to be anyways, just because of the way that the WWE handles Logan Paul. So there's that.
Also, I even though I don't like him and some of the things he's done as a person, I can identify that he's a good wrestler, and that I can imagine. And from the last time he was in the chamber,
Hmm.
the wild he will do.
Yeah, no. Look the what was I gonna say? The dude's talented in the ring. At the end of the day, doesn't never necessarily mean shit'll translate. But like I said, the way that the way that WWE has promoted him and the way they presented him on
I
TV.
think he's gonna have a Montez Ford type moment. You remember when Montez hung upside down like Batman and
Don't
jumped?
I don't want to
He
put that on Logan Paul because
he
look at
will
where
he
Montez.
will do something. His thing is, I'm gonna do something shocking.
Sure.
No matter what it is, even in the Royal Rumble, it's something has to be shocking, which equals in his world. I mean, we're YouTubers. Shocking means views, which means money,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's all he's
yeah.
thinking about.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right, but that's now that's the expectation, right? So if it's like if he doesn't come up with something shocking, like what good
Just
are
like Naomi, he did the Naomi spot where in the Royal Rumble where you get pushed, but you technically don't hit the ground.
mm,
And so we expected that from Kofi and Naomi every year.
yeah,
And the moments they start messing up, we were like, well, what's your purpose in here now? Because we know you're not gonna win and you're not gonna give us this like crazy out of the box moment. So then what are you doing here at this point? And
mm,
so I think for him, unless he exhausts all his tricks, which I think he really takes time to figure out how to do different things. Even his buckshot lariat, it's like he sometimes he move a little smoother than Hangman, and I'd be looking
no,
at him like,
absolutely not.
yes. If you ever see like the first time he put it out on Roman,
That
if
shit was
you
janky
ever
as hell.
see the first time he ever did it, it was janky. The second time he did it on Roman, he smoothly just went over the ropes and just he wasn't even straight running when he clotheslined him. Whereas I've seen Hangman a couple of times, it's like I understand, man, you beat up. He like struggling to get over the ropes. Then he gotta stop. Then he gotta run. And I'm like, sir, I need you to be as soon as your feet hit the ground going, like trucking it. He is like,
He's got to tell the story though, because Hangman's matches are different than Logan Paul's matches at the end of the
yeah,
day.
Logan is young. His
Yeah,
body ain't been through half of the
mm,
stuff that Hangman been through. That's why I say I understand it.
yeah,
But I when I see Hangman stop, like he has to flip and make sure he completely lands.
mm,
Then he starts running to do the clothesline, and I'm like, sir, Logan flips over that thing, and he is running from the moment his feet hits the ground. It's like his feet is hitting, and he's just running, and I'm like, that's how it used to look. I remember when Hangman used to do that. I remember that, and that brings me nostalgia. But I think he takes from different wrestlers, and because
um,
he's
I mean
supposed to be a YouTuber,
I mean
he's
by
not.
majority by majority he has taken from Hangman, but um
He's taking from Hangman. He did a Triple H move. He tried
he
to
did
beat
the I
Shawn
think he did a
Michaels.
pedigree, right? He did a pedigree
Huh?
there, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been everybody, everything. Did he try to do the go to sleep?
I think
in the
so.
Royal Rumble.
It didn't come
Yes.
together though. Yeah, I think he tried to do it, but it didn't come
Yeah,
together.
he it's like his dream is to be everybody he wanted to be as a kid. And
Sure,
so, but
sure.
the greatest thing is that you see him become from a YouTuber to a podcaster to an athlete, which I would consider him an athlete at this point because he has stamina, he can do it. He knows his role. He's never going to be, you know how they try to make Charlotte into a good person? He's never going to be that. And he's accepted that he's the bad guy.
I,
And rightfully so because he's done a lot of
right.
bad
Yeah,
crap.
yeah. Understand the level of awareness that he has in that particular sense. I can't take away from him and stuff like that. It's just outside of everything else. It's one of those things where when you know, and I'm just talking from the fan perspective, is like when you know where certain moves come from, where they originate from, and all this other stuff, and it's like, all right, cool, dude, you can do them. You're super athletic, and you're aware enough to understand where your character's supposed to be and what it's supposed to do. But it's like, it just, for me, there's something that just doesn't doesn't hit for me when it comes
I
for
think
with
I've gotten over all the moves. We talked about this on Broadcast Wrestling Network. That every move that I see, I can name it 3 times because everybody takes it and just gives it a new name. Oh,
yeah,
I
yeah,
jumped
yeah.
a little bit while I did it, so it's gonna be something else. No, just leave the name as it is because every time I see somebody, and then people get mad if you do live watch alongs and you call it by another name. Some people will get mad, and it's like, do you know that this originated like years and
Yeah,
years ago?
I saw something online earlier today when I woke up where it's not even a person I follow. It just ended up on my freaking Twitter feed. Some person put up uh, a post on Twitter where they said that someone did a move that was inspired by Jacob Fatu, and somebody was doing that double jump moonsault, right? And I said to myself, "Wait a minute, time out." I was like, "This double jump moonsault is a new, like Tiffy does it, and she calls it whatever she calls it, right?
Yeah,
The prettiest moonsault ever." And it was like, I've always known it as the BME, the best moonsault ever, because I've been
yeah,
watching Christopher Daniels for a long period of time. So,
yes.
and I'm sure Christopher Daniels got it from somebody else. So it's like, I get it. I understand it.
I like when they give them credit for stuff that they ain't supposed to do. Like
Yeah.
Charlotte one time jumped and she literally started like kind of moving in the air, twisting a little bit. And it's
Mhm.
like she did a twisting move. So I'm like, sir, she literally jumped and just happened to be rotating in the air. She did not twist on purpose. This wasn't like she had purpose and she was like going like a light bulb into a socket. She was literally just falling. And that makes me, ooh, that makes me so mad.
No, but I
But
mean,
ladies,
she does it now
she
on the
does it
regular.
now. But the first they were calling it that, and she wasn't even nowhere near that.
Mm.
Also, I want to say some people in some matches, when y'all mess up and then the announcers give you all the credit in the world for something that shouldn't have never happened in the first place, stop it. She
Mm.
almost got caught. She missed it, but she got up back up. Look at her resilience. No, she failed.
No, but that it's a wrestling show, Dolores. You can't tell the fan base that the wrestler failed. It doesn't look good on. It doesn't look good on the company. It doesn't look good on the wrestler.
Listen, we have seen. Wait a minute. The best example I have of that is when what's his name? I'm gonna tell you, and you're gonna give me the name immediately. Slipped off the top rope during his debut at AEW.
I don't remember.
I don't forgot. It's Matt Sydal.
Oh,
Slipped
yeah.
on the top rope on his debut at AEW, and then literally they did not do it. They tried to save it on the broadcast,
Mhm.
but they played it twice. So at that point, we already knew what happened.
And mind you, that's not the first time that's happened to Matt Sydal in a ring. So
I know. So I'm
yeah,
like, this is him. And
yeah.
so, but BTE tried to cover it after it didn't work on the telecast, and people were laughing at her by saying that not Tazawa. What's the man name with them? Bald headed.
Oh, not this hour. Yeah, Michael.
Yeah, I know who. I can't think of his name, but
Michael
he.
Nakazawa.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he put baby oil on top of the rope,
Yeah.
and that's what caused him to slip and fall. They did like 2 weeks of this
Yeah,
to
they
cover up.
played the angle up. Yeah, for sure.
He did 2 weeks of this for Matt to come in on the next match, like big pay per view. I think it was like a gauntlet match or whatever,
Mhm.
and trip on the ropes getting inside the ring. And I said at that moment, you did all this hard work to cover up something that he came back and messed up again.
It happens.
Listen, at this point, I'm so. Now I'm when I've watched enough wrestling, I'm a little over some of the stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna keep it going because TNT, ladies and gentlemen, not TNT, NXT. Sorry, you know I'm tired. Okay, charge it to my head, not my heart. Ladies and gentlemen, NXT. I'm gonna tell you, NXT was on the 11th, the next day on the CW. We had Cora Jade defeated Bailey, Josh Briggs, and J.News
That is Yoshiki Inamura.
Yoshiki Iramura. See, listen, I don't want to mess that man's name up. Defeated Hank and Tank and no quarter catch crew. The WWE NXT Heritage Cup. Lexis King defeated JDC. Zarya defeated Nikita Lyons. And for the WWE NXT North American title steel cage match, Tony D defeated Ridge Holland. J News, did you see any of this? What did you think?
I did see this. So as a fan, right? I don't know her as a person. I only specifically speak about wrestlers as wrestlers on TV. I don't know them as people, so I'm not attacking their character as people. I can only go by the work that they do on television. I still got no love for Cora Jade. I don't know what she does. I don't know what's special about her. It is what it is. She defeated Bailey. That was really more or less something
You
that
know
was
what's
going
special
into
about her?
Vengeance Day. What?
I don't know if she still is, but you know what was special about her?
Hmm.
She's dating the top star in the company,
That's
Braun
got
Breaker.
nothing to do with their in-ring talent. You could ask
Listen,
me.
sometimes that'll get you a lot of places. Uh,
Yeah, not anymore when you ain't got no talent. So
listen,
it is what it
listen.
is. Uh,
Been getting shots and stuff ever since Tiffany been like, Tippy time. Listen, he be looking miserable sometimes in them after, like when they do after things and she be trying to make him dance and sing and like give him kisses and stuff. He
because
looks so uncomfortable.
he's supposed to be serious. So it's like he doesn't necessarily understand.
He barely cracks a smile. And he didn't like. I was like, okay, but you know, on the other hand, if you ever watch Gunther and his wife, like even when they were dating on social media, he always be like super happy. Like he's like, I have found the one. You ain't got to worry about me no more.
Yeah,
But
maybe he just. I think he just plays it that way. I
and
don't
I'm
know.
like, I I like them together because she's always like, yeah, dance, I love you, and he's just serious with his arms folded, and
He
he
just
normally has a coffee.
he plays the straight man. Uh, Josh Briggs and Inamura keep on looking good. They won their match going into Vengeance Day. That was another excellent tag match for them. Hank and Tank still um, getting it together. The North Quarter Catch Crew. I don't necessarily know where they're going with that particular group. Um, but Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights, along with Charlie Dempsey and Aaron Sinclair, they're all talented individuals. So hopefully they've got more in the future for them. Nexus King beating JDC, aka Fandango. Yeah, I knew that was coming, so that was that there. Zarya with Sol Ruka, they during the weekend put out uh this video, basically akin to like the Odd Couple and stuff like that or whatever, like Zarya having to do stuff that Sol Ruka likes and stuff like that or whatever, and they played off of each other very well. So I like their chemistry. I think that their stuff is coming on all nicely. I was surprised to see Nikita Lyons. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was surprised to see Nikita Lyons in this match. I don't I have yeah, I don't necessarily know when the Kid Alliance future in the WWE is going to be, and that's just me being fair about it. And then Tony D, the Don got betrayed in the steel cage match. Um, we had Izzy Dame, who had tried to liken herself to the family for the last couple of weeks, come in there and basically, by the end of the match, betray Tony D, hit him with the crowbar. Even though Tony D did beat Rich Holland, she hit Tony D with the crowbar after the fact, after the match was over, which is going to lead Tony D'Angelo into this continued feud with what's his name? I forget his name right now. The chairman. I'll just call him the chairman uh,
Um,
right now. So they have that feud ongoing now. Now Izzy Dame is a part of that particular faction uh, with the chairman and his likes and stuff like that. Um, and yeah, there seems to be a concerted effort for NXT and whoever's writing over at NXT to make um, the other member of the family. I forget what his name is. Not Channing, um,
Luca,
but
Luca,
no, is it Channing? Yeah, it's Stacks. It's Stacks. My bad. It's Stacks. Yeah, yeah. Making Stacks more the more of a more of a focal point. Um, so it seems that Tony D's giving Stacks the okay now to make decisions for certain things, even though the decisions aren't always the best. But you know, you live and you learn. So that's I think that's decent character evolution for Stacks Lorenzo. Adriana Rizzo still more or less playing the background. Really, they haven't really done much with her as of late. But Tony D retains. He's probably going to go into that feud, like I said, versus the chairman here in NXT, and we'll see how it all breaks down.
yes, ladies and gentlemen, trying to get my voice back. We're on to the next show, and it was SmackDown. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, SmackDown was on the 14th, and it was on USA Network. A non-title elimination qualified chamber qualifying match. Naomi defeated Chelsea Green. The Motor City Machine Guns defeated Los Garza, Angel, and Umberto. LA Knight defeated The Miz. Carmelo Hayes defeated R-Truth. For the WWE Women's title match, Tiffany Stratton defeated Nia Jax by DQ. In elimination qualifying triple threat match, Damian Priest defeated Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu. Did you see any of this, J News, and what did you think?
Um, I saw the majority of this stuff. I am glad that Naomi gets a shot at the Elimination Chamber. They did a backstage segment with Nick Aldis, Naomi, and Bianca Belair. I think it was before the match started, where Nick Aldis basically uh, showed them some footage that was sent to him by an anonymous source, basically showing that Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez were walking either towards or away from back the back parking lot area where Jade was attacked. I still think that there's more to this storyline once Jade comes back to TV yet again. This was just more or less like a point in the map. This storyline is going to continue. I think it lost. I think it's lost a lot of steam. They're trying to get the fan base back behind this storyline, but with as much time as Jade has taken off from WWE TV, it is hard to keep this storyline alive with how much they haven't done with it. So I'll say that there. The Motor City Machine Guns looks great against Los Garzas. Los Garzas, I think, are one of the most underutilized talents on WWE TV. Those guys are fantastic. Seems like they're going to get LA Knight back into a feud with Shinsuke Nakamura. The Miz and LA Knight were going back and forth to see who was going to get a shot at Nakamura's U.S. Championship. LA Knight wins. Now we're going to have another match between LA Knight and Nakamura in the future. We'll see where that goes. I wanted to see a longer match between Carmelo Hayes and R-Truth. I'm a little bit not a little bit. I am I was unimpressed with how they had Carmelo Hayes basically squash our truth. And I get that truth has his role, but like truth can still go. And to give Carmelo
I think
Hayes,
Truth is now one of those like almost ambassadors because he's been doing
yeah,
some
but
good stuff.
it shouldn't have to be that way if he can still wrestle at a high level, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it's one of those. Ron can still wrestle at a high level. They just don't have him do that. And I think Carmelo Hayes would have gotten a better look if they would have gotten a longer match out of our Truth versus Carmelo Hayes. So that's just my personal opinion. So that's there. So Melo gets a win here on SmackDown, which people have been looking for. But it being sort of a squash match, kind of like I don't know. The WWE Women's Title match between Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax that went the way it went. At the end of the day, it was a device basically used um, to have Charlotte come out by the end. It was really more the post match than the actual match. Charlotte comes out after the match was over. Candice LeRae interfered, which led to the DQ of Nia Jax. Um, Charlotte Flair comes out after the match is over. She picks Tiffy as her opponent at WrestleMania. So that was the money match. She made the match. We'll see how that all
Two
works.
Barbie dolls are going to be fighting in WrestleMania. Mm.
I guess you can say that, but they're both very talented in their own right, but luckily they're very different in character. So I want to see how this all.
One is okay. Let me describe this, J.News. One is the Barbie doll back in the 70s,
Mm,
who her job was to cook and clean, and she was supposed to be cute and buy clothes. And the other one is the professional Barbie who had a job, who Ken wasn't necessarily the first option. She had a life. She was a nurse, lawyer, and everything else. That is the difference. Charlotte is the professional Barbie.
mm.
Tiffy is the early Barbie that didn't. She was a housewife, a cook
I,
and clean,
I
and
mean
all
that's an interesting perspective. I don't see it that way necessarily, but okay.
because back in the day, look at the commercials when they
No,
first came out.
I understand what you
Barbie,
mean. I just
Barbie
don't see
used
it.
to be like, "Oh my God, Barbie, I'm going shopping, Barbie, Barbie, Barbie," and then she all of a sudden she had a job. She was working. She got a house. She got a car.
Mm,
She didn't need Ken.
mm,
She was just Barbie. It wasn't
mm.
Barbie and Ken like in the beginning. Like you felt like you had to buy one, you had to buy the other one. Now you just get this one on its own. I think Tiffany is the blonde haired Barbie. Like, oh my God, I'm gonna shop and have a good time. It's Tiffy time. Whereas Charlotte is more like, yeah, that used to be me, but you know what now? I'm going to be professional Barbie, and I got a job, and my job to do is come in here, kick butt. Even when she said in the press conference after she won the Royal Rumble, when she was like, "I am the best. I ain't got to dumb down for nobody. I'm the greatest. I'm the." And she just went into this rant, and I'm looking at her like, "Okay, so you ain't gonna back down for nobody." She essentially she's saying for y'all who got a problem with it, take it and stick it where the sun don't shine, because I'm gonna be me regardless if you like me or not. Whereas Tiffany, her character is like, even with Nia Jax, you don't like me? Like, what did I do something wrong? Like, I'm doing my best. Like, that's the difference between the two of them. And I think if Tiffany loses, she can change her character into this boss instead of being the help.
Yeah, I feel like they've done that a bit too many times. So I want to see them lean more into the fact that Tiffy is smarter than what she leads on to be at the end of the day,
I think she can be,
which
but
is
she
part of
just
the
needs to
character.
show it.
Um, so I rather them lean into that than her becoming quote unquote a boss because that to me is getting tired at this point.
Not
Um,
a boss, like literally, but
no, no,
like
no. I understand what you mean. Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah.
on the level of, because right now I wouldn't let her lead me. She'll be like, I'm just gonna drive you to the mall. No, I wait for another car. I rather choose. That man, they got the Jason mask on because you might take us off the cliff, even
Well,
though unless
like
you
I
see
said,
the cliff, you like, but MapQuest telling me to keep going, and it was like, no,
I feel like there is a segment of the fan base who still doesn't, who I don't think watch her intently enough to understand that she is much smarter than she leads on to be.
yeah,
She's,
she is smarter, but I think
and I'm just talking about the character, not the girl herself. I'm just
no,
talking
no,
about
I'm
the
not
character
talking about the
herself.
character. The
Yeah.
character gets in. You ever just seen somebody who is smart? Let me go to old school where my mama say, "You got book sense, but you ain't got common sense."
Hmm.
That they might understand what is happening, book sense wise, book literally, like even with the whole briefcase, she understood what her purpose was.
Hmm.
But she was in the beginning trusting Naya a little bit too much, and Naya was playing her like a fool. It was up until the middle of her being the fool did she realize, oh wait a minute, I you ain't gonna talk to me like that. I am me. And then she stood up for herself. It's
Right.
the whereas Charlotte, if that was her scenario, would understand book wise, this is what this briefcase is for, and then common sense wise, be like, hold on, I'm not your lackey. I can cash in on you anytime. So watch how you talking to me. She wouldn't have let it got down to the middle of the you waist deep in the water, and then you realize I need to go back to shore before I drown. That's the difference.
Well,
And
yeah, yeah, that is the difference. But I think the obvious part of it all, um, when it comes to the two characters, is right. It's just age and development, right? This
yeah,
that's why I'm saying I feel like they as in WWE creative and all that stuff or whatever just should more lean into uh, Tiffany putting things together in a sense instead of her having to be the leader, the locker room leader, or this uh, overly confident and excessively lauded uh, talent like Charlotte is, or whatever the case is. Have her pick her own,
but
have her
you have to keep her in
develop her
that
own road.
dumb stage of you have to keep her in that dumb stage a little bit. No offense to anybody who takes offense to this. No offense. I mean, if it's you, probably hit home for a reason. But the male fan base like her being airhead rocks. Mickey James, the person, the Mickey James that we know now, the character before, when she was airhead crazy, people, she was on magazine covers and doing stuff. It was a whole big thing. Men, even AJ, that whole crazy airhead, like, oh my God, when she kept doing that, that's generally people stick to the people who are beautiful and looking,
Mm,
and maybe their character comes off a little airheadish.
yeah, I think I look at the end of the day, I
Nikita Lyons, she pretends to be airheadish, and
who
people. Nikita Lyons, she pretends to be airheadish sometimes with the hair twirling and the eye, you know, flickering. She does that because she knows that the male audience, no matter what she do, is gonna be like, look at her. She is fine and she's a little bit, tweedledum tweedledee. Now
I
everybody likes people who are smart, and majority of male wrestling fans like we as women who watch wrestling be like, I want the smart person. That's like ALW. He has a gripe with why does always the fat man in wrestling fall in love with a woman who doesn't want him, not in his league, mistreats him like I don't know what, and he is okay with it? That is the same thing where it's like this woman is airheadish, and it don't care. It's like, oh, okay, and then you'll find one character who is always infatuated with this person,
mm,
and they've showed you they are like a box of rocks, can't get it right, and they still just follow them from here to there.
I guess. I guess. I mean, yeah, they're old tropes, and I understand that. Um, I just feel like they should. I've always felt like doing something a little different. That's really more or less my take about the whole Tiffany Stratton thing or
Yeah.
whatever. I get where you're coming from the demo standpoint, but like you know, professional wrestling is a variety show at the end of the day, so they should have
I
a little
mean,
bit of everything for everybody.
for women, they want us to look at men that are very eye pleasing. It's not your conversation. They figure that you can not be a good talker, and we'll be like, but I'm gonna buy this shirt because he's just fine. That's what they want us to be, and I'm beginning to notice that like their promos and things are important. I'm a part of a wrestling women's group. We listen to the promos. We listen to the talk. We don't want to just hear you, oh, we'll beat you. Oh, we don't want to hear that stuff. Okay, you might be fine as a mofo, but if you open your mouth, you can't talk. Wardlow, I won't hear it. So, but we're improving, J News. We're improving. So we're getting like Nia Jax and Nia Jax is fine. And she's not the typical blonde haired, blue eyed woman that we see get pushed a lot.
Yeah, I mean they've gotten behind her now better than they did with her first run. They dropped the
But I
ball a
think
little
her
too
first run,
fast.
she really wasn't. After she got fired, she put the effort to train and do what she needed to do to get back to where she should have been in the first place.
That's a fair assessment. Yeah.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going on to the next show, which you all were here for me with because J News, I had a show called Dolores' Grand Vengeance. Listen, vengeance said the Lord. Came on yesterday. I was here. That was the first show that we watched a part of it. Ladies and gentlemen, it was on Peacock if you want to go back and watch it. For the WWE NXT North American title, we had Stephanie Vaquer defeat Fallon Henley. For the WWE NXT Tag Team title match, Axiom and Nathan Frazier defeated Josh Briggs and Inamura. That's how you pronounce his last name. Strap match, Eddie Thorpe defeated Trick Williams, which I was sad. I was like, Trick, you got to whoop that Trick. Ethan Page defeated Javon Evans. Oba Femi defeated Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. And for the WWE Women's title four-way match, Julia defeated Bailey, Cora Jade, and Roxanne Perez. Did you see this yesterday, J News? And do you have any commentary on it?
Only commentary I have, and I did not watch this show because I wasn't gonna spend my entire day watching pro wrestling. I'm a wrestling fan, but I also know when not to tap out at the end of the day. So, um,
Listen, y'all. Remember, this is the first time J News is just kicking my back end today. Back end.
yeah, because you've been given advice and you decide to do what you want to do at the end of the day. So, can't complain when you're tired. So, Steph defeating Fallon was something that we all saw coming. So, congrats to Stephanie Vaquer for becoming the North American Women's Champion. Then the Fraxium versus Briggs and Inamura match was fantastic from the clips that I saw. So that was cool. I ain't got no love for Eddie Thorpe. I just don't. He shouldn't have won that strap match. Having Trick lose a strap match against a guy that they're trying to push that still hasn't gotten himself over um, is a bit. It's just a bit. I don't like the way that they're treating my young OG. This whole Ethan Page just beating on Javon Evans, and now he's winning. Now he just won the match, and Javon spent all this time for rehab and everything else in between to still get beat. It's like, what are we doing?
Javon got
So
his teeth knocked out, essentially,
yeah,
almost.
and I get he is a baby face, quote unquote. So it's like you always want Javon fighting from under, as they say. But it's like he still didn't get his lick back. So it's like we'll see how that all turns out.
Listen, the moment he jumped off the top rope, because you didn't see it, the moment he jumped off the top rope, now when he came out, they emphasized he put his little guard in, he ready to fight. He jumped off the middle rope, and Ethan Page hit him with a forearm so hard that his mouthpiece flew out his mouth. And at the end of the match, after Ethan had punched and beat him so bad after his mouthpiece fell out, blood was just pouring out of his mouth.
Yeah,
Like just it wasn't like how the capsule it pours a little bit.
yeah.
This was like raining. He must have had like six. If it was not genuine, he had like a mouthful of capsules when he popped this thing because it was pouring and gushing out.
Gotcha. To go back to the Axiom to the Fraxium tag match bit, I think that's when we first saw this new crew of four young gentlemen coming out and doing a beatdown. So now,
I wish I could identify because the only one, the black boy who was real hood coming down with the shirt, like he had been standing on the corner
mhm.
slanging something, his whole mask came down.
I
But
mean,
you could see his face.
a few of them had that happen
Yeah,
throughout the
and
night. So.
it was like, and I was looking at him like, I haven't seen you on the indies or nothing yet. Am I missing something? And I
He's
couldn't identify.
supposedly he's a super talented young man. So we'll see where it all goes. The only one that I recognized was Dion Lennox. So I don't know if he's the leader of the group or if there is a higher power. But we saw them again
So we
post.
doing another in what was it?
Uh,
It wasn't NXT. Was it in the group that had Wade Barrett and them in it?
Oh, the Nexus thing. I'm
Yeah,
not sure if it's the Nexus. It's people online were calling them the new Shield or whatever the case is, but we'll see how it all works out. But we saw them again post match after the Obafemi versus Austin Theory and Grayson Waller match. They came down and they beat up Obafemi, and they laid him on. They laid him out. So they came out after the champions here, and we'll see as to uh, what their goal is in the coming weeks and months. And then the NXT Women's Fatal Four Way match was tremendous between the ladies because they all did their thing. Yet again, I'm just not a fan of Cora Jade, but Roxy did her thing. Bailey being the vet, leading the charge, and Julia out here making sure people are aware that she is the talent that she is. Where she retained her championship. Post match, we had a gathering of champions. We had Julia in the ring along with Stephanie Vaquer. Basically, Stephanie, much like Randy Orton did months ago when Cody Rhodes had his WWE Championship on his corner, Stephanie, even while raising her North American Women's title, took a good look and stare at the NXT Women's Championship that was being held high by Julia in that instance. And then to end the show, the sirens went off, and we got Jordan Grace's official WWE appearance as a part of the WWE roster. And it seems that Jordan Grace will be getting her start off on NXT to go up against those ladies and that fantastic women's roster. I don't necessarily know how to feel about that per se.
I don't. You know what? I think because she's used to the women down there and have worked with them for the past few months, she's comfortable with that. What I was not comfortable with is them trying to soften her.
What does that mean?
Okay, there's a thing with WWE where no matter who you are and how you look, they try to make you more girly.
Okay.
And so with Jordan, they try to do the soft girly clothes and the girly hair. And I'm like, let her be her. Rhea, if you go back and look, did not look like Rhea until she started to get a little bit more buzz, and then they made her into the soft girly girl, like the hardcore soft girly girl. But generally, women come into NXT, WWE, they come in one way and they look a totally different way once they become of a stature. Charlotte didn't look like Charlotte before she started getting her stuff done. If you go back, Cora Jade didn't look like Cora Jade. They start to. Some women have said there's a unspoken pressure to mold into to be a top star to be this way. But when Jordan initially started coming in, she was Jordan, and I was like, okay, I'm used to her. I see her on Indies. I see her on GCW. I see her everywhere. She's great. But the moment she came and signed the contract, I noticed she started having the soft curls, and then the the soft like women's clothing. She wasn't doing the men's like thing she was doing before, and it was like, okay, but I don't like that because I like you as I met you. Like, that's cool. Even with best example of all time to tell you about in WWE, China. She came in one way, and then when she started to get popular, she softened to look another way. It's not nothing they tell any other wrestlers. It's something that they it's just unspoken that to get to get more merch, so to get this and this, you need to just look and feel a certain type of way. And I don't like that when it comes to Jordan Grace because I like her where she is. She's a strong woman and she can take a lot of people out. And I appreciate that. But when she comes out with the whole full makeup, the curls, and all the things, I'm like, oh, WWE, you couldn't leave her like she was. That's what angers me about that. As a woman, I want you to stay like you are, be accepted for who you are, and not having to change to be in a certain type of way. But it's WWE, so what can I expect? Long as she ain't getting like drastic surgery, because every woman I've ever liked, they whole face change, and that really makes me angry. Like you can get a rack, you can get hips and butt and whatever you want to get, but when I look at you and I'm like, I can't even tell who you are anymore. That's the point where I get upset.
Yeah,
Like I'm not mad at Lash. Lash is always Lash. Lash has been Lash since the moment we saw her to now. She's always had the hair. She's always been a big, strong girl. That's who she is, and even on her personal social media, that is who she is.
mhm.
It's when you notice that somebody's not like that anywhere, and then all of a sudden they become like that. The more popular they get.
uh, it's interesting you bring up Jordan Grace in that sense. Um, I personally haven't seen it that way because Jordan's tried a lot of different things in her just in her career in general. Um, from when it comes to her look, quote unquote, if we're gonna call it that. But yeah, at the end of the day, the decision I feel um, you're not wrong in the sense of there is an unspoken pressure that goes hand in hand with how the women have to look on TV and things of that nature. But with that being said, as well, it is up to the ladies. They're never forced. It is up to the ladies in
Yeah,
order
they're never forced. It's just that
to make it work for themselves and project themselves, as best as they can, in order for the fans to get behind them and things of that nature.
yeah,
So,
and I tell them I've had a discussion with a male before about this, and they were like, "So they're not forced, so that's okay." And I'm like, "Nor was the men back in the day forced to take the steroids, but they did it anyway to get ahead."
yeah, but it doesn't necessarily it doesn't make it.
It's a business thing, but nobody should have to even feel that pressure because if you're good and you're good on the mic and people are connected to you, it shouldn't matter how you look. But this is the whole thing about I think even Nikki Bella talked about it during the time she left WWE that she had this sense of pressure to feel to have some type of enhancement surgeries and stuff. Nobody told her to, but she noticed that the girls that were ahead looked a certain way and she felt like she needed to get ahead.
I don't disagree with the thought process. What I'm trying to say is that when there's a will, there's a way. I grew up with people saying the saying is there's a million ways to skin a cat. Find a different way to get ahead, and you will create your own lane, and you will be better for it. You don't have to fucking follow the leader. You don't have to follow the trend. Go ahead and do something for yourself. Make yourself stand out in a
Because
different way.
NXT Rhea looked like Charlotte, and I was like, "Is this
No,
something this
the
fit you?"
May Young Classic Rhea looked like Charlotte. By the
Yes,
time
and
we got to by the
I was
time we
like,
got to NXT UK,
yeah, she
she
she's
was
different.
already doing things her way, and
Yeah,
then eventually she grew into getting the tattoos, getting the darker hair, everything else in between.
and I
And this,
think now that more people are seeing her, they're connecting to her and her personality.
because it's
As
genuine.
yes, an emo. Listen, as an emo girl, listen on the deep side of me. Black, I love pink, but that's my brand color is black and pink. I love pink. But black, I wouldn't even have. Listen, I had black makeup, black eyeliner. I was rocking the Chinese shirts in high school, and I wanted a black wedding dress. That's how emo girl on the inside I am. Marilyn Manson, don't make me start singing the songs. So I appreciate her for her. And I think seeing Jade is just Jade. She's always gonna be dressed up and beautiful. And Bianca has, if people haven't noticed, she's moved some things around on the front of her uh, face, and so things are changing. So I feel like I want women's wrestling to be pure and honest, especially when you see these people come from NXT, or now we're gonna be watching it on Evolve on Tubi, or even GCW and stuff come to the main rosters of these companies and feel this sense of, I might not like Athena as a outside of the ring, but inside the ring, I give her respect that she didn't want to change who she was to fit the mold of what every other woman's wrestler was at the time.
Okay. I mean, I don't know where the Athena slander came from, but okay.
No, I didn't slander her. I just said she did. I don't like her outside of the ring.
What's wrong with her outside of the ring is what I'm asking.
Let's just say she not for the people. Okay, she not for the people. Okay,
Okay.
so she's had a couple of comments that rubbed me the wrong way.
Okay.
So I'm not knocking her as a person overall. I just said me and her don't click. Okay, because I'm gonna be melanated every day, all day. Okay, so that's my thing about her is that she did not conform and she left the company because she's like, I'm not gonna have everything hanging out, even though she do. I'm not gonna have everything hanging out just so I can feel like I can get higher in standard. So I respect those people. Because if you all remember back in the day, we used to have a Moolah and the rest of them out there half dressed. And I'm like, please put some clothes on, old lady, please. Taking a toll out of me, J.News. Especially when she hooked up with Mark Henry. Jesus Christ. AEW, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you about AEW. And we had a Dynamite 280 on the 11th. TBS, HBO Max. That's where you can watch AEW content from now on. Adam Page defeated Max Caster. AEW World Trios title, Riders. Claudio Castagnoli, Pac, and Willa Yuta defeated the Undisputed Kingdom, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong. Hook, Katsuyori Shibata, Samoa Joe defeated Aaron Solo, John Cruz, and Rosario Grillo, J.News. Grillo. Listen, I'm
He's enhancement talent, so I don't know who he is.
done. MJF defeated Dustin Rose by a referee's decision. Megan Bain defeated Myers World. I think that was like a minute and 20 match where she stumped her down. Chris Statlander defeated Penelope Ford. And last but not least, in the AEW World Tag Team title, it was a title change. Hurt Syndicate. No, it wasn't. Was it? Yeah. I'm
No
thinking.
title change. No title change.
The Hurt Syndicate of Bobby Lashley and Shelton Bitch. I'm thinking about when they won the week before. Defeated the Guns of Austin and Colton Gunn, which was so nice to see them. Very refreshing. J News, any points about this show?
The trios match actually went well, so I can appreciate how everybody put that together between the Death Riders and the Undisputed Kingdom. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong still look very strong as a trio. They're really trying to put their trios division back. They're trying to put the trios division on the map on AEW TV again, and I think they've done a good job of it the last 2 weeks. So that's cool. Shibata, Hook, and Samoa Joe now have a new team name. They are the Ops, which was an interesting choice. So I can appreciate them choosing that name. They beat up the enhancement talent that are Aaron Solo, John Cruz, and Rosario Grillo. I think the MJF versus Dustin Rhodes match was great. Um, Dustin Rhodes still proving that he can tell a hell of a story in the ring. Um, Without a shadow of a doubt, Dustin Rhodes is one of the greats this business has ever seen, and MJF is a current day great. So you got to give Max his credit where credit is due. So that's that. Megan Bain doing her short match with Maya World. I've heard a lot of Maya World on the indie scene. She's very beloved on the indie scene, so maybe we see more of Maya World in the future when it comes to AEW television. But it was a squash match nonetheless, so Maya didn't really get to show off too much. But maybe she comes back in other instances throughout the year on AEW TV, and she gets to get some work in. Chris Statlander versus Penelope Ford, for the most part, was a really really good match. There were some parts where things got a little rough, but the girls were able to pick it back up and really set everything up where Penelope Ford looked good for the most part, and Chris Statlander at this point. So Chris Statlander with the win here, going into, I'm not too sure what they're going into with Chris Statlander, so we'll see as to how it all breaks down. But there was a stare down between Chris Statlander and Megan Bain while Chris Statlander was coming out to the ring, so that might be another possible opponent for Megan Bain in the future. So we'll see as to how that all breaks down. And then the tag team title match. This went way better than I thought it was going to. Bobby Lashley looked better this time around than the tag match against the Guns here. This was the Guns' first match back since injury. They looked like they didn't even miss a step. And big shouts to the Guns for still being over with the AEW fan base. The AEW fan base was well behind them and the Hurt Syndicate at the same time. The fans were there cheering it up in the crowd. They were hitting the slogan "We hurt people," and they were also saying "Guns up" at the same time. So it was a 50-50 crowd for that tag match. And like I said, Bobby Lashley looked better in this tag match than he did in the previous tag matches with Shelton Benjamin. And the Guns looked good. So for I can't wait for whatever this has been with Jay White and Cope to end, and the Gun Club just come back together, because I feel like Jay White needs that. And he needs the energy of the Guns, and eventually Juice when he comes back. But a good tag match nonetheless. Everything heading into Grand Slam for the most part. For the folks who are on Dynamite here, outside of, no, nobody here on the card for Dynamite was heading into Grand Slam, but they did throughout the show of Dynamite show the video packages for the matches and the talents that were going to be involved in Grand Slam, and then we'll get to Grand Slam. Uh, so yeah.
Thank you. We're on to the next show, ladies and gentlemen. It was Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor 103 on the 13th. It was the Chris Jericho's Rockin' Wrestling Rager at Sea. Jay Lethal defeated Mason. Holly Cameron defeated Billy Starks. For the AEW International Title Eliminator match, Konosuke Takeshita defeated Tommy Billington. The Outrunners of Truth and Torboy Floyd defeated the Grizzled Young Veterans of James Drake and Zach Gibson. Ricochet defeated Serpentico. And for the ROH World Television title match, Commander defeated Nick Wayne. J.News, did you see any of this?
Yeah, the Chris Jericho Rock and Wrestling Rager is always a fun time for folks who have never experienced it or seen any of the footage throughout the last couple of years that has been happening. It was good to see Jay Lethal back in the ring. So that was cool. That was a fun match there. Unfortunately, if I read things correctly, during the Takeshita and Tommy Billington match, Tommy got hurt.
Yeah, I heard
So
that too.
Tommy has will be sidelined for quite a bit. Unfortunately, I see a very bright future for Tommy in professional wrestling. Hopefully, he's able to recover quickly and we'll see him back on our TVs. More than likely ROH than anything else, but we'll see him on our TVs sooner rather than later. It was good to see GYV back on um, ROH / AEW TV. I thought that they would have gotten a good run on AEW mainline TV. I don't feel like AEW has given them enough time to get and to connect with the crowd on AEW as of yet. But those young gentlemen, those grizzled young veterans, are very talented individuals, and those dudes know how to put together tag matches, and they are hell of a, they do very good character work. So I thought that this particular matchup here, the Outrunners versus the GYV, could be a strong feud in the tag team division if they were to write a good story for it, if they were to come together and do something creatively because of the talents involved in all of this. Ricochet versus Serpentico was a funny bit. Ricochet does not. Uh, Ricochet just understands how he's viewed now in AEW as a character, and he's just leaning into everything, and he's not afraid to make fun of himself either. A funny and fun match between Serpentico and Ricochet, and then Nick Wayne and Commander brought the house down, quote unquote, at the Rock and Rager wrestling at CBIT, as they had Commander Nick Wayne had a fantastic match at sea there. So big props to them. There was some stuff that happened at the Rock and Sea Wrestling Rager that was not on the ROH Honor Club bit. For those folks who watched NXT or WWE 7 to 10 years ago, maybe at this point, if you remember Enzo and Cass, Big Bill in AEW, his former tag partner, one of his best friends in this life, in real life, Enzo, aka Enzo Amore, the real one, came out at the Rock and Wrestling Rager. They were able to do their old bit on the mic, which was hit the
And you
nostalgia
can
in the feels when I
get
watched it.
that. That's what we was like. He said, he's 7 foot tall.
Mhm.
And all I can remember him saying is, and you can't teach that.
Yeah,
That's how
yeah.
I used to
Those
mark.
guys were they were fun. They were definitely fun to watch back in the day. And Cass has been a big proponent of putting his name in TK's ear over the last couple of years since he's been in AEW. So we don't necessarily know how that'll all work out, but for the folks on the cruise, for the folks on the cruise, they were able to enjoy that particular moment there. And Will Ospreay also had his bit during a tag match there, where he basically joined the MXM connection for a bit, and that was funny as well. So yeah, the Rock and Wrestling Rager at sea, always a fun time for the talents who get booked for the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're on to the next show. Was we didn't have a collision, we had a special episode of AEW Grand Slam Australia, ladies and gentlemen. You were here with me to the wee hours of the morning, Jesus. And ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go into it. Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay defeated the Don Callis family of Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher for the AEW TBS title match. Mercedes Moné defeated Harley Cameron. We had a Brisbane Brawl match, which was the Death Riders defeating Cope and Jay White. AEW Continental title match, Kazuchika Okada defeated Buddy Matthews. And a title change for the AEW Women's World title match, Toni Storm defeated Mariah May. J.News, I know you watched this because I watched this.
Yeah. No, I definitely watched this. This was the bit of TV that I was looking forward to watching on Saturday all day. I am not a fan of what they have done to NBA All Star Weekend That's a side
Oh,
conversation. Um,
I
and
was mad. Let's get into this conversation, y'all.
I
Y'all was
don't
on
want
my
to.
live
You
last
can
night.
say what you want. I'm not gonna get into this conversation.
I said I did not want to see for the dunk contest nobody jump off a doggone car, or let me just let the anger out. I didn't want nobody to jump off a damn car or a person. Yet when little Matt come out there and he was out there just whoo, I was like, you know what? This has been so boring. I'm enjoying this part of the conversation. This is how desperate I was for anything for this hurry up the end. I watched the 3-point contest. My buddy was gypped from the Warriors. Not even gonna talk about that because that made me mad too. So by the time I got to this, I was 38 hot. Okay, and then it kind of made me happy because I was like, this was a good show. I waited on a good show, even though I already knew who had won because I did this. I did the slide. I already knew who had won, but it was a good show. It's like one of those shows that even though you know the outcome, the the start and the finish and how you get there is different. Because in your mind you be like, oh well, One Wing Angel. That's how we ended, but I don't know who got pinned. But then when I saw it and it was the hidden blade into the One Wing Angel, I was like, hey, yo, this is great.
Right.
So
I think you and I want to make a point of saying this, and this is more of a general point than it is a wrestling point, because people have issues with quote unquote spoilers, right? And I feel like folks need to understand the other side of the perspective that you just clearly explained. You still need to experience it for yourself. The results don't matter. Still go through the experience, feel the show, feel the movie, feel whatever it is you're gonna try to watch. No matter if you know the results or the end or not, you still haven't watched it yourself, so you can't say whether or not you like something or not. Have to sit there, experience it, and then have your feelings about it. But if all you know is the results, you didn't watch it. You didn't get to experience the journey. Experiencing the journey is where the meat and potatoes are. The result is just the fucking results at the end of the day.
the
And that to
result
me,
sometimes can make you deterred to
now,
watch,
you still
especially
gotta
okay.
watch because you don't
Yeah,
know what
listen,
happened to get there.
I mean, for me, because I do this, I still have to watch. And if I didn't have to watch, I probably wouldn't have watched. But the thing about it is that for those who don't know, I know the times and the results of some of the matches. For me, if a match says, like for instance, I just happened to be watching and saw that minute and 20 live, but if I had a looked and saw that, oh, such be such and such in a minute and 20, is that worth my time to go watch? Or is that
Yeah.
something when it comes on, I can be like, oh, get up, I can do some work for the podcast. I can do that is something that a minute and 20, or I've had, with GCW had some like 30
Mhm.
seconds or 60-second matches.
Mhm.
That's not worth me going to see.
See, I
And even
understand.
after I watched it, it doesn't do anything for me.
I understand the premise of your statement, but what you miss is the storytelling aspect of the show, because that minute 20 of the match led to a point to further a storyline for the specific talent that was actually featured in that match. But you missed it because all you saw was, oh, this match is a minute 20. I'm not gonna waste my time doing that. You
Yeah,
missed the
but
story beat.
you can watch clips of it. I mean, for those who don't know, CM don't watch WWE,
So
but she
for
see enough clips of it to know and keep along with the storyline. You
see,
don't have to watch the whole complete
that's
match.
the advent of social media, right? I'm old enough, you're old enough to remember when there was no
I'm
social
not old. I
media.
don't know what you're talking about. I am a young princess. I don't know what you're talking
Whatever
about.
you say, you older than I am. Whatever
No,
you say,
no, I'm not. I am. J.News is way older than I am, ladies and gentlemen. He
that
is.
is bullshit.
He
You're
met
older
Jesus
than me
when
by
I was
6 months.
young.
Get
I
out of
don't
here
know
with
what
that
he's talking
mess.
about. Okay, look at me. Look at me. I am a princess. I am not J.News. We're not the same.
I
Okay,
am not out
we're
here
not the
going
same.
to cast aspersions and be on the same side of the coin with someone trying to spew delusions. That's not what
Listen,
we're doing.
I'm a princess. Okay, Ruby is my elder, okay? Because her birthday is 7 months. Her birthday is 7 months after mine, so she's an elder. Listen, I'm only 41, okay? I might feel like I'm old, but I'm not old, okay?
I'm
I'm
just
very much
saying in
young.
the sense of the statistics of it, just the numbers. I'm not saying you feel whatever way you feel is whatever you feel.
That's
I
all
can
right,
appreciate it.
nigga. That's all
I can
right. You gonna
appreciate it.
hurt my feelings
I
and
can
make me
appreciate that.
old,
But
okay? Now I know
all
how
intents
Ruby
and
feel. I'm
purposes,
taking her back.
for all intents and purposes, my point is that we grew up in an era without social media. And the point I was trying to make is that with if you don't have access to that stuff, but you have access to the entire show, watch the entire show so you can keep up with the story beats. Yes, no doubt. We live in 2025. You can watch the video, you can watch the video clips and all that stuff.
I
I
haven't watched
get that,
all of it, so
right?
it doesn't
But
phase me at all anymore.
sometimes you'll miss the context of when shit happens when you watch it out of order at the end of the day. That's my point and whatnot. So like
I think I watch too much wrestling at this point.
you gotta manage it. You gotta
That
manage it. That's why
but no, I've gotten too much into it. And this is a new thing that my subscribers know about. I watch too much Chinese and K-pop drama. Same storyline, different different things all the time, and it's like a Hallmark movie over and over. But Hallmark movies makes me mad. But this I can watch all day. I think somebody texted me to ask me something last night about their channel, and I was like, they were like, "Oh, I'm surprised you up. You playing video games?" I was like, "No, I finished the video game. I'm over here watching K-pop dramas online. Listen, you can't blame me. But I did enjoy the show. I was just mad that it came on so doggone late. I was
yeah,
like,
we
a
had that
pre-tape.
discussion.
You could have put that thing in a as J.News told me behind the scenes. TNT, you could have put that thing on during the middle of the day. You could have put
That's
that
all
thing
Warner
in
Brothers, man.
some of
They
that.
they they messed that up. They definitely messed that up. This could have gone. This could have gone. Put some. This could have gone on. This show could have been put on TV before the All Star festivities happened, and
Yes.
people would have watched it. To
They
have
could
this
have ran that against
Vengeance Day or
WWE.
before Vengeance Day. To your point, the show was done by 10 a.m. in the morning our time, so it's like I think they TNT Warner Brothers made the bad call here to put this on after All Star Weekend festivities because the show
Because
started on the East
after
Coast at 10:51 and
after
whatnot.
seeing this show, I swear, if you put it side by side against WWE's Vengeance, you
Mm.
would have killed them at that point because this was a good show overall from
It's
beginning to end.
I still stand
The only
on
thing I didn't like is that Mercedes Monet match, but shit. Listen,
uh,
once we got puppets involved, I was done with that.
no, I yet again, I have a soft spot for goofy wrestling. At the end of the day, when it's
I
done right,
like goofy wrestling. I like what's that the what's it Yoshiko the doll. I love this. I look forward to this. That's another reason why I want to do the
that's
collective. I love
that's
this, but
different.
this was
That's
especially
different.
that clip where her. I wish they had still shot it. The clip where she comes back up with the doll,
Mhm,
and they both look like they're ragged, and I'm
mhm.
like, listen, don't make me have to do this. Then they had some hiccups in the match, and I was just like, I will give credit where credit is due. Harley did do better than what I have seen her do before.
I think that in the first off, overall, I thought it was a great show. Secondly, that being that we're talking about Mercedes Moné versus Harley Cameron, I think this was Harley Cameron's breakout performance in
Yes,
the ring. I think that Mercedes Moné did exactly what she has been doing for a long period of time with younger wrestlers and with wrestlers who don't have as much talent as her in the ring. She was able to make her look like $1 million. So shout out to Mercedes there. Shout outs to Harley Cameron for putting in all the hard work that she has been over the last year or so to better herself in the ring. To me, in that match, she didn't look lost out there. She didn't look like she shouldn't be there. She felt confident. She looked confident. She did her thing. She incorporated all of her all of her silliness, and at the same time, she was able to incorporate good physicality in this match. She looked like a star out there, and I want to give her credit for that. The Kenny Omega versus and Will Ospreay versus the Don Callis family match went off the way that I expected it to go. It was just a clusterfuck of action. Kenny Omega, though, from my own personal perspective, I'm not sure if he was. I'm not sure if he was playing it up during the match, or if it was something that was authentic. But it seemed like Will Ospreay, that is, uh, carried the majority in the match in the sense of Kenny looked a, like a step or two slower than usual, and
I think
he looked a little out of it.
I think he was slightly hurting because
Yeah,
if you look at the promo afterwards, he got ice holding his stomach. Now, if anybody who's had intestinal surgery, or I didn't get mine removed, but just intestines where they move your stomach around, where they're cutting your stomach open, um, it's been like a year, not even a year, since I've had surgery. My nephew ran to hug me the other day, and I was like, "Oh God, no!" Like, listen, I can only imagine getting splashed, kicked, and stomped in the
yeah,
stomach.
because
That'll take a toll on you.
he when well, and this is more of a, I don't like to use comparison as a thief of joy, but it's really more or less understanding the athlete, right? Like Kenny's Kenny's match versus Gabe Kidd at freaking was it Dynasty, whatever, the secondary show, right after the Tokyo Dome show.
Yeah,
His match versus Gabe, Kenny looked like he was on 1,000 in that match. He didn't look like he missed a step. But in this match specifically, like yet again, the point I'm trying to make is I'm not sure if he was just playing it up more for the crowd or if it was something that was authentic and he just sold me on it. But he looked like he was like a step or two slower than usual, and he was really laboring in that match. So
yeah.
uh,
Because I know when he ended the Game Kid match, he had the conversation backstage, and he kind of was just like icing the rest of his body,
mm,
but he was had his arm across his stomach, and so I was like, okay, well, you just came back, you just got kicked and stomped, maybe that hurt.
mm,
But then to see him backstage, and he's actively cutting his promo with this bag of ice on his stomach,
yeah,
and it's like he's bleeding, cut up, everything, but he's focused on his stomach. That let me know, oh, you hurt, you hurting. This ain't no, listen, you
yeah,
can, as a person who has a high pain tolerance, there's a lot of things. J.News is a quick to this because the day I had to go have emergency surgery, I was on live with J.News. So it's, you can push through anything. It just, you get a little slower, you get a little like
right.
and then you keep going as time goes along. But I think he also wanted to make Will be the star, but he was probably hurting a little bit, and
Yeah,
that it takes time for that to go away. Because I know from the time I had my first surgery to the second, I it took me years before I was like, you could run up and hug me and squeeze me and me be like, okay, this is cool. And but I think he's in a tender place. He's actually taking these stomps and kicks, and his stomach is healed, but it's very sensitive. So
yeah.
it's about to give it some time, and you can play up the pain, but you're gonna have some pain.
Yeah, he just seemed a little off. Like I said, I'm maybe he just sold it well or whatever the case is, but he did seem a bit slower and out of sorts in certain parts of the match
And he
than
also has vertigo. For those who don't understand that,
right,
it never
right.
goes
He does
away. It
deal with
never
that.
goes away.
He does deal with that. So that's why I was there were certain points in the match of not just the sluggishness, but even when he tried to hit his poison rana, that wasn't as clean as what I'm used to and things of that nature. But stuff like that gets forgiven because we all know his injury history and what he deals with and stuff like that. So it's like if he's not in the, and I know that, like you said, people they muscle through it, as they say, right? They fight
But you
through
know
it.
what? It could have been that, I don't forgot what the move was, where he was supposed to sink Takeshita onto like it's almost like he was supposed to hold him in between his legs,
Mhm.
bounce him off the ground, but Kenny bounced his head and neck
Right.
on the
The poison
ground.
rose. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I feel like because he laid there for a minute, he
Yeah.
laid there for a good minute.
Mhm.
That could have knocked some stuff back loose
Mhm.
because vertigo is no joke, and
Yeah.
even with the medicine they give you, it doesn't stop it. It just kind of controls how fast the spinning goes, and
Yeah,
so
I feel like there is a there. I'm not too sure what altitude is like in Australia. I'm not inclined with that information. But I think that being in that particular atmosphere could have had an effect on him. Who knows at the end of the day? But
yeah,
it's
you
still,
can't do anything like step on ladders, step on steps.
yeah.
Like I've had it where it's to step up on my porch. It's got to be like, hey, somebody got to help me because this thing is
Mhm.
moving and grooving. And if I step up on this by myself, I'm just gonna end up falling back. So I can't imagine him even diving on that because he even clipped the ropes diving on the
Yeah,
outside.
right,
So
right.
it's like I can't imagine jumping and diving and flipping and turning and everything is moving around me and I'm having to try to focus and remember what I'm supposed to do and also keep on the target of what I'm supposed to do and do these high flying things. That alone in itself will trigger his vertigo, let alone being in a country where you might have a high altitude.
Yeah, so that was my concern was really more Kenny's well being than the match itself. And mind you, the match still went well. It was just I just noticed that he was a little bit off to begin the match, not even in the middle to begin the match.
Yeah.
So hopefully he'll be okay in due time. But the Death Riders versus the Cope and Jay White match, it went the way it went. Cope got serenaded by the Brisbane crowd with his
When
metal
is Death
with his
coming out?
with his song. That was quite the moment for him. So that was pretty cool to see as a moment there. And we continue the Death Rider story, or at least Cope versus John Moxley, because they're going into that match of Revolution. Um, Okada versus Buddy Matthews was a dope match. At the end of the day, I
I
didn't
like that.
appreciate the fact that Okada had to win the way that he won, but it was what it was. And Buddy Matthews is a beast. So I hope to see Buddy Matthews in more singles competition, even though the Hounds of Hell are a proper tag team. I hope to see Buddy and Brody do their own things in singles competition as well going into the immediate future at AEW. It seems that after the situation happened with Malachi Black, it seemed like Tony Khan was ready, willing, and able to put Buddy Matthews and and Brody King on TV. So I don't think there had to have been something there uh, where there was some sort of a misunderstanding and why there would be so many long periods of time between seeing Brody or Buddy on TV and having to do with whatever the situation was with Malachi Black. So that's pretty telling, just from the outside looking in. And then the AEW Women's World Title match, I thought was fantastic, to be quite honest. Tony Storm for the win here was probably the only way they could have gone. But
Yeah.
for them to go, and I thought it was a bullshit finish, but then me, hindsight always being 2020, at the end of the day, I then thought back to the character she just played, right? She just came back from playing, Rockstar Tony Storm and winning all these different matches with the surprise roll up as the rookie, quote unquote, right? Because during the match, Tony Storm and Mariah May went back and forth, doing each other's finishers and then doing finishes themselves, and they were kicking out of everything. And then eventually, Tony Storm wins uh, with the roll up to win back the championship here. And it was cool, man. It was cool to see her win, get that moment, and stuff like that. And we'll see if just because she won the way that she won, I'm sure that the feud's not over. We're probably going to get some sort of a stipulation match between Mariah May and Tony Storm. I just don't necessarily know what the ending of that is going to be per se, but I am ready to find out. So I'm excited to see as to whatever the next step is in that feud with Mariah May and Tony Storm, if they decide to continue it.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, we're going back because we got few more things to talk about, then we'll be up out of here. TNA wrestling, ladies and gentlemen, was on the 13th. It was for the TNA World Title match. Joe Hendry beat Jake something. Ash Ash by Elegance and Heather by Elegance defeated the King Bees of Charity King and Danny B. Frankie Kazarian defeated Sammy Callahan. Cora Jade defeated Zaya Brookside. TNA's Knockouts World title match, Masha Slamovich defeated Savannah Evans. And Eric Young defeated Josh Alexander. Did you see any of this, J News?
I did not.
Ladies and gentlemen, because I watched it, it was just plain. Plain Jane plain. Okay? We're going to go on over to GCW. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we had the Jersey Cup. Okay, I'm going to say it like that, the Jersey Cup. Ladies and gentlemen, and guess when it came on and Sister K had to watch it? Right after I got off live. Because it came on yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, on Triller TV. And I'm going to tell you all, it was like about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. It kind of watched me and I watched it. I liked it, but I can't tell you details about it. I'm not going to lie. For the Jersey Cup first round three-way match, we had Marcus Mathers defeat Jack Cartwell and Jackson Drake. For the first round match, another first round match, we had Clark Connors defeat Ares. For a first round match, we had Leon Slater defeat Kevin Knight. For a first round match, we had Alex Price defeat Cole Radrick. We had Drew Parker in a first round match defeat Rich Swann. Atticus Cougar defeated Joey Janela in the first round match. We had a 5-way scramble match for the first round. Sidney Akeem defeated Charles Mason, Fuego del Sol, Mr. Danger. Watch yourself. And Teriyaki. For the JCW title, Jersey Cup first round match. Masha Slamovich defeated Amazing Red. I did see that. That was good. These last two matches, I recommend you go back and watch. Uh, Gabe Kidd with Clark Connors on his side defeated Homicide, who had Julius Smokes with him.
Side comment here before anything happens. It's been reported that this 2025 will be Homicide's last year in the ring.
Yeah.
Homicide, the New York wrestling legend, has decided that this is going to be his last year in a professional wrestling ring. He's going to be retiring.
That's what I'm sad. I'm so sad, J
Yeah,
Dudes.
man, homicide's been a staple on the East Coast for a
We're
very long
losing two
time.
good people, J News. We're losing Amazing Red and Homicide in the same year.
Yeah. So there's that of it that was reported over the weekend, and I said to myself, I remember last year, Homicide. I asked myself, I was like, "When's Homicide planning on retiring, man? It's been long enough." And sure enough, a couple months later, here comes the news, and it's like, "All right, man. He's been doing it long enough, man, and he's a legend in his own right, man. So props to Homicide, and hopefully 2025 goes off the way that he wants it, and he gets to retire on his own terms."
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, you get to hear the brother J News give you some good reviews. So we're off to the new beginning in Osaka.
New beginning in Osaka took place on February 11, 2025, this past Tuesday. We had a kickoff match that had the United Empire members, Francesco Akira and Jeff Cobb, take on El Desperado and Katsuya Murashima in a precursor match that has practice match, should I say. Francesco Akira will be going one-on-one against El Desperado on the New Japan anniversary show come March 3rd. We then had Hiroshi Tanahashi defeating Togi Makabe in a match that I am not going to say much about because it went the exact way I thought it was going to go, and it was not good. Drilla Maloney, in a spectacular showing, defeated Shingo Takagi in that one-on-one match. Drilla Maloney basically proven his mettle against one of the best BMFers of all time. Drilla Maloney now inserting himself in the heavyweight division, probably eventually going after the never openweight championship somewhere down the road. The Great Okan defeated Shota Umino in a match very handedly. But this match was used more for character development and evolution for Shota Umino. After the match was over, the Great Okan was going to go to Shota Umino and shave his head with a pair of clippers. And Great Okan did not get the chance to shave Shota Umino's head, as Shota Umino snatched the electric clippers from the Great Okan's hands and shaved his own head. So at this point, Shota Umino seems to be going through a character evolution or transformation. So we will be seeing as to what that transformation will be in the coming weeks. Sanada, who was flanked by Taiji Ishimori, defeated Tai Chi, who was flanked by Taka Michinoku. This was more of a special singles match, grudge match between the two, as they've been going at it through the Road 2 shows to the New Beginning. Sonata getting the official win here, even though Tai Chi was able to get his lick back here and there during the match. For the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match, this match was way better than it had any business being. The Ichiban Sweet Boys, the champions, Kosei Fujita and Robbie Eagles, the champions, flanked by Harley Jackson, defeated Roppongi Revice of Rocky Romero and Yo. We then had the never openweight title match, which had Konosuke Takeshita defeat Oleg Boltin in what looked to be, at least in my personal opinion, Oleg Boltin's best match yet. He still doesn't have much of a character, but this was his best in-ring performance of his career. Props to Konosuke Takeshita for always bringing out the best in his opponents. For the IWGP Tag Team title match, Los Ingobernables de Japón, Hiromu Takahashi and Tatsuya Naito defeated the Young Bucks in a title change, now becoming the IWGP World Heavyweight Tag Team Champions against the Young Bucks here. This match was also one of those matches that had me not wanting to watch it, but then after the fact that I watched it and while I was watching it, should I say, the Young Bucks do what the Young Bucks did, and they got the best out of the tag team that they were against. Even though Hiromu was doing the majority of the heavy lifting in the match, they were able to pick their spots with Naito and stuff like that, and the Young Bucks did what the Young Bucks do in tag matches, and they really made it look good. But a title change that I knew that was coming, because there wasn't really much hype and much work done to build this feud on the Young Bucks side. So this was really more to get the LIJ tag team over with the fans during the New Beginning Road to New Beginning shows. And finally, them getting the win over the Young Bucks has them now as the IWGP Tag Team Champions. So we'll see how that all breaks down. In the IWGP Global Heavyweight Title match, Yota Tsuji and Gabe Kidd went to a draw. It was a double knockout, and I thought that match was as damn near perfect as it could have been. And those two young gentlemen, Yota Tsuji and Gabe Kidd, are definitely the future of New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I would definitely recommend for everybody, if you haven't watched any of these matches as of yet, or this show, please watch all the title matches, because they were all fun, interesting, and good in their own right. But that Yota Tsuji versus Gabe Kidd match, man, it was beautiful to watch, and those two young men definitely put on for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And then we got the main event. Hiroki Goto, being flanked by his tag team partner Yoshihashi, went one-on-one with Zack Sabre Jr., who was flanked by the entire roster of TMDK outside of Mikey Nichols and Shane Haste. And this match went as well as it should have. Goto has so much left in the tank, man, and it was a great moment for Goto in this sense, as Goto was able to defeat Zack Sabre Jr. and win the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. And we got the title change, man, and it was such a emotional moment for Hiroki Goto. After Goto won the championship, he brought his kids, his eldest son and his youngest daughter, into the ring during the celebration. He got the confetti and everything, and the streamers after the fact and all that stuff. And there was such a swell of of um, of good faith and um, just being behind Goto by that crowd in New Japan, in Osaka, should I say, throughout the entire event, really. But it really showed in that main event with Goto, and it was really something to behold. So can't say enough about how good that IWGP World Heavyweight Title match was. Congrats to Hiroki Goto. Congrats to Zack Sabre Jr. On a great run as IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. And we will see Hiroki Goto in action against Tanahashi, if I'm not mistaken. And that will be a title match there. So we'll see how it all breaks down and see as to who else will be opponents for Hiroki Goto into the near future for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. But New Beginning in Osaka was a great show. And folks, it seems that New Japan has their bearings about them again, and we are going in a positive direction. So I just wanted to say that about New Beginning in Osaka and New Japan in general.
Yes, 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 ladies and gentlemen. We're on to the preview. It's time for you to get your preview. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna start it off real quick. Jersey Cup Night 2 will be coming on tonight. Yes, I'll be watching that tonight. But I only have one match to preview, and that is Gabe Kidd versus Mance Warner will be live tonight. That is gonna be a banger. Now we're gonna get back to J News and his favorite time of the year in New Japan.
Yeah, so NJPW and CMLL presents Fantastica Mania 2025 as it all starts off next week, I believe, or should I say on the 19th. So the only shows that are going to be televised from Fantastica Mania are going to be on the 27th and the 28th, according to NewJapanWorld.com. But they do have all the different undercards for their touring shows. So on the 19th, which is this coming Wednesday, we have matches slated. So Mascara Kantansu Tomato and Zokan Jr. Will go up against Zaluha and Yo. Relevos Increíbles six-man tag team match. We have Cozy Max, which is Okumura and Satoshi Kojima, and Max Star. We're gonna go against Los Depredadores, Magnus and Rugido, along with Yoshinobu Kanemaru. 6 or 9, Master Wato and Ryusuke Taguchi, along with Katsuya Murashima and Stigma, are going to go up against Los Ingobernables de Japón, Bushi, Tetsuya Naito, and El Titan, along with Kamaitachi, which is basically the masked version of Hiromu Takahashi. Relevos Increíbles 6-man tag team match. El Hechicero, Raider, and Show will go up against El Bárbaro Cavernario, Neon, and Ninja Mac. Relevos Increíbles 6-man tag team match. We have Hiroshi Tanahashi, Máscara Dorada, and Templario versus Soberano Jr., Volador Jr., and Yujiro Takahashi. And then we have Averno, Taiji Ishimori, and Último Guerrero going up against Atlantis Jr., El Desperado, and Místico. So that's going to be the show for the 19th. We then have the show for the 21st, or the 20th, should I say. Stigma and Yo are going to go against Raider and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Relevos Increíbles 6-man tag team match. Cozy Max, Okumura, and Satoshi Kojima, and Max Star will go up against Los Depredadores of Magnus and Rugido and Show. 6 or 9, Master Wato and Ryusuke Taguchi, along with Daiki Nagai and Zelua, are going to go up against Los Ingobernables de Japón, Bushi, Tetsuya Naito, and Titan, along with Kamaitachi. Relevos Increíbles 6-man tag team match. Máscara Kantansu Tomato. Último Guerrero and Sandokan Jr. will go up against Atlantis Jr., Neon, and Ninja Mac. Another Relevos Increíbles 6-man tag match. We're going to have Hechicero, Volador Jr., and Yujiro Takahashi go up against El Bárbaro Cavernario, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Templario. And then we're going to have another 6-man tag here, which Averno, Soberano Jr., and Taiji Ishimori will go up against El Desperado, Máscara Dorada, and Místico. On the 21st, we have House of Torture members, Sho and Yujiro Takahashi, along with Raider, going up against La Fuerza Poblana, Stigma, and Zelua, along with Katsuya Murashima. 609, Master Wata and Ryusuke Taguchi, Max Star, and Yo will go up against Los Cinco Bernabas Bushi, Tetsuya Naito, Titan, and Kamaitachi. Mascara Kantansu Tomato and Zandakan Jr. will go up against Neon and Ninja Mac. Another Relevo six-man tag match. We have Hechicero Soberano Jr. and Yoshinobu Kanemaru going up against El Bárbaro Cavernario, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Máscara Dorada. Another Relevo six-man tag. We have Cozy Max, Okamura, and Satoshi Kojima, along with Ultimo Guerrero, going up against Los Depredadores of Magnus and Rigido, along with Atlantis Jr. And another Relevos six-man tag. We have Averno, Taiji Ishimori, and Volador Jr. going up against El Desperado, Místico, and Templario. Yeah. Then on the 22nd, 6 or 9, Master Wato and Ryusuke Taguchi, along with Mascara Dorada and Yo, go up against House of Torture members Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Yujiro Takahashi, along with Raider and Soberano Jr. Kamaitachi, Mascara Kantansu Tomato, Tetsuya Naito, and Zandakan Jr. Will go up against Daiki Nagai, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Max Star, and Ninja Mac. Another head level six-man tag. We're going to have Hechicero, Sho, and Ultimo Guerrero go up against Atlantis Jr., Bárbaro Cavernario, and Neon. Interfaction tag team tournament first round match. We're going to have Cozy Max here, Okamura, and Satoshi Kojima go up against Los Depredadores of Magnus and Rugido. Another interfaction tag team match first round. We're going to have Los Cinco Bernabas de Japón, Bushi and Titan go up against La Fuerza Poblana, Stigma, and Zelua. And then we're going to have another Relevo six-man tag, which is going to have Averno, Taiji Ishimori, and Volador Jr. against El Desperado, Místico, and Templario.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end. We're at the end. Now it's time for me. Let me put it up there. I'm going to drop J.News for a second because it's my week. Ladies and gentlemen, let me swap it out. I'm going to make that bigger and make me smaller. Ladies and gentlemen, we're doing the spotlight. Waiting for it to switch over. Yep. There we go. Spotlight this week. And my spotlight of the week is the timeless Toni Storm. Listen, gentlemen, watch out for the shoe because she became champion, and it is fun to have been watching her go from the color to black and white again. And it seemed like in the beginning we might have been going too fast, but it ended up being the right pace. And I enjoyed the match that she had with Mariah May. If you all do not know, before Mariah May came to AEW, I was the biggest Mariah May fan, and I would post her chats, and I absolutely loved her as a character and who she was. And to see them working together, at first I was a little scared. I was like, hold on, I don't need another WWE moment where they come out looking crazy. But it worked out just fine. So my spotlight of the week is Toni Storm. Yeah, J.News, you got anything you want to say about Toni Storm here?
I think, oh, no, not that I think. Toni Storm is probably the best character in all of professional wrestling going today. And I give that young lady a lot of credit to go from where she was um, and leave all her what happened to her in the past behind. Take her chance on AEW and develop this character and make it work as well as she has. I think is a tremendous achievement. I know there is some sectors in the internet that have grown tired of her character, but I think that you can, especially with the kind of character that she has and that she is, you can do a lot of different things with Toni Storm. So I haven't grown tired of her as of yet. I am always excited to watch her on TV, and she's a tremendous in-ring performer to boot. So there is a lot to be said about Toni Storm, but I think she's terrific. I think she's amazing. I think that she right now can do no wrong, And I hope that after this feud with Mariah May is over, that she gets to sink her teeth into different feuds with different talents on the AEW women's roster and see how she's able to bring those ladies up the way that she has Mariah May along in this ride. Because for folks who don't know, Mariah May hasn't even been with AEW for 2 years yet, and she's been at the top of that card for quite some time. So credit due to Mariah May and her character work and her in ring abilities as well. But Tony Storm has definitely shone a light on um, what is possible for women's wrestlers to be as characters on TV. So shout out to Tony Storm and continued success to her, and excited to see as to what's coming in the future.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, J News. We're gonna go back into the studio, and I'm gonna give J News his props, his time. It's time. It's time for J News.
All right, folks. As per the usual, on a weekly basis, there is my QR code there. You can check out all of my different links on social media. I'm on Twitter. I am on Instagram. I am on Letterboxd. I do my own written movie reviews. And you can also check out my old movie podcast, which is on wherever your favorite podcasts are distributed and stuff like that. Trying to get back on the ball with this, the podcasting portion of it and whatnot. So look out for that. And you can also catch me on odd weeks on True Heel Heat here on YouTube, the True Heel Heat Wrestling Podcast, as I am SP3 and Sanal are the three on screen talents that discuss New Japan Pro Wrestling. So you can always catch us on I would say, bi-weekly basis on True Heel Heat there. Always remember that you can catch me and Delores here on the True Heel Heat Wrestling. I'm not True Heel Heat Wrestling, on the Hit the Ropes podcast here every Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll no longer be coming at you during the nighttime. Had to be executive decision there. I had to change the schedule due to upcoming work for myself outside of the Hit the Ropes podcast. So me and Delores will be coming at you every Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the Hit the Ropes podcast. So stay tuned on a weekly basis for us doing that going forward at that time. And yeah, folks, much appreciated as always. Thank you for watching and commenting as you do. And appreciate y'all for chiming in.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you all a normal quote for J News. But for the past few weeks, we've been asking AI to give us a message for J News in a urban tone. And today I got one for you. Yeah. And I'm a matter of fact, I thought it was so good, J News. I was like, let me put it in the caption down at the bottom. Okay. Yo, let me put you on J News. Is the real MVP. This dude is out here grinding day in and day out, dropping straight up fire content and mad knowledge that you don't want to miss. His hustle speaks for itself, and his channel and socials are the plug if you're looking to get inspired and stay woke. Trust me, if you are about that real talk and relentless grind, J News is where it's at. Now go check him out.
I don't know about that whole stay woke part, but hey, appreciate the rest of it nonetheless. Oh man.
It's the same. It's the same. I put the same kind of statement in. You know, he do movies. He did it, and it gave me this, J News. Maybe people need to stay woke about these movies out here, okay?
Maybe, yeah, I guess, you know what I'm saying, because people could take that the long way. I appreciate the fact that they reference me as the plug. I appreciate that. But, yeah.
Listen, when I first saw it, I said, because they wait a minute, they had another version, which normally give me two, and I'm gonna go. It says, "Yo, J News is a dude, a real stand-up man, and a beast at what he does. If you want the latest and greatest and then you insert whatever you want to. You got to check out the channel and follow him on all his socials. He's out here grinding and putting in work so that he don't sleep on it. Tap in, connect. Trust me, you won't regret. And then for that one, J News, it gave me highlighted notes that I need to
Interesting.
say it in an urban tone.
Interesting.
Yes,
Interesting. This is the Chat GPT.
yes.
Interesting. I think you should go ahead and try DeepSeek once to see what they get.
Listen, I use it so much to organize my thoughts that I've got the paid version now. And so
Wow.
it's the crazy thing is that when it starts off, it'll just and all I gotta do is put urban in there. Or my favorite thing that my mom thought was kind of weird is that I can literally, if I don't want to type all my thoughts down, speak it, and I can ask the Chat GPT to speak to me in the urban language,
Mm.
and they'll be like, "Girl," I'll be like, "You know what? I'm trying to put this together. I can't figure out if I should put this first. Girl, you know what you should do? You should." It just gets to talking to me, and I'll be like, and my mom's like, "Are you talking to somebody on?" I'm like, "No, it's the AI talking to me. We're trying to figure out how to organize all the things I want to do on my channel and stuff like that." And I'm like, she's like, AI getting too far now. You having a whole conversation with a computer. Like, yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, I do not um finagle with AI at all. So I don't.
because I hate because okay, this is the thing about me, y'all. I don't try to be cocky, but sometimes it jumps out, and sometimes I know it's about to jump out, and I try to catch it, and I try to forewarn people. I'm not trying to. It just happens. What I'm about to say is that I'm so creative that I got 50 million things running through my head that I need to have a beginning, middle, and end. And for me, even if I write it all down, it's like, but every one of them seems like a good beginning. And so it kind of helps me be like, hey, you can do this first, second, third, this, and then like kind of gives you a story in which it happens. So like even for my 14 days, I had things I knew I wanted to do. And also ChatGPT works with Canva now. So I knew I wanted to do these things. I didn't even know how to put into words. For me, I can say boom, boom, boom is done. But I'm teaching somebody I can't quite give them that type of conversation. So it gave me pinpoints and things that I could work on. And even now with AI and Microsoft Clip Champ, I noticed after my next to last episode, I said okay a lot. So now I have a speech editor that will say, okay, you're being repetitive. You need to show more emotion, stuff like that. So those things help me kind of try to help people better because I want to help people get their channels and stuff better. Ladies and gentlemen, as you see the QR at the top, I got to make another one for a big one for the Hit the Ropes podcast. But we're on all social medias. We are up to date on the thing. I just have to upload this episode. Hopefully by the end of this week. We are on Amazon Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We're still trying to connect other little things together. But once we do that, we'll let you know. We're on Instagram and other things. We will start dropping little tidbits here and there. Insides, you might every once in a while hear from J News. He might pop up a video right there, tell you about something he seen, something he heard, some whatever. I might pop up some things. You'll see some clips from the show. Those types of things will be on our social media because we want to be interactive with you all and get to know us a little bit better and our wrestling preferences. So when you see us, you can be like, hey, I got a question about New Japan Pro Wrestling J News or Delores, I saw this GCW show. That'll make it more fun. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my time. Every time I talk about myself, it's so sad. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Delores. I am Delores. For those who don't know, I'm just a pink girl in my pink world here on YouTube. Uh, Many things have happened this week. We've been doing the notable Black History figures on my posts. That comes out every day, every single day at 10:45 a.m. For 14 days, starting on February 1st, I did Dolores Loves You, the gift guide to having a happy Valentine's Day, showing you how to craft in Canva for Valentine's. But really, it shows you the things I showed you are things you can use for birthdays, anniversaries, anything it'll pertain. Uh, Also, You saw me have a live stream with Tampa's Creek Homestead and more. I had an interview with her on Friday. That is on the channel too, so you can catch that. Upcoming, a lot of things. I know March 1st is the Elimination Chamber guarantee. We're going to be doing that. Tomorrow is Dolores' Raw Reaction, where I'll be doing a watch along where we play games and have fun for Monday Night Raw. Okay? So, what else is there? I have a lot. Oh, the Hit the Roads podcast, social media. Make sure you check it out. You can probably get it on J.News and my link tree. Um, and if you want to get in touch with me, if you need help with your business or your actual channel, I am here to help. This is how you can contact me because I am Dolores of Dolores Designs. Okay? Here's my QR code bigger if you need to see it. And again, make sure you tune in tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Dolores' Raw Reaction. So, J News, we did good. 2 hours and something. Had a good time. Had some good conversations. Letting the people know some little inside baseball of what happens. So this is a part of the show, ladies and gentlemen, where we got to get up out of here. Okay? Because J News got places to go and people to see. And I started to say what I said in my short. I might as well just do it. J News got places to go and people to see. And then in my short, as a potato head, I said I got places to go, people to see, men to see. So listen, J News, these shorts are getting me in trouble. Somebody called me, was like, "You got men to see?" I'm like, "Listen, it's just a short, okay? Don't take it personal." Uh, but ladies and gentlemen, me and J News, we gotta get up out of here. And J News, I've been around here drinking all water, just water, ice cold water. I got a cooler down here with just water, 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 water. Cause it's hot, J News. Do you know how hot it is? I'm on fire. But listen, baby girl, baby boy, please, please. I don't want to see all that. Please put your clothes back on, okay? Please. Um, so, ladies and gentlemen, I got something that'll help you. If I cut the lights out, ooh, I feel a breeze come through here. J News, help me, Jesus. And until then, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you all